Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. If this feels like it's a very rushed video, it kind of is a rushed video. Because if you see this and if you hear wind, I'm really sorry, but this has been the nicest day in such a long time. I don't like it when I have to do my everything I knit and crochet videos inside. So I'm going to do this outside come hell or high water, or in the case of this, come hell or rain water. Am I slightly off to one side? Yes, I am. Am I going to deal with it? I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is. But I'm hoping that I'll remember to insert things over here that I can't show you. Yes, as hinted, this is my everything I knit and crochet in the month of August. Now, I had big plans, and I'm fairly certain that I sat here and that I said, I'm going to finish my strawberry cardigan. Because all I had to do was the strawberries. You know, we're not talking a lot of work. These are the strawberries. I've gone back and forth over the size that I want the strawberries to be. Do I want them all to be different sizes? Do I want them to be uniform? Do I want some bigger ones? How do I want the layout to look? I've got a strawberry pattern that I'm happy with. These are strawberry appliques to go on the cardigan, because I figured if I make the cardigan with strawberry appliques, people who want to knit it can just knit a cardigan they like, and then they can make the strawberry appliques and stick them on, and they can be happy as a bag of ducks. That's not the phrase. I don't even know what the phrase is. However, I've got this many strawberries done. I'm looking at this going, oh, that's a lot of ends to darn on. But I'm going to make this many more strawberries. I actually can't remember if I bought 2 balls of this yarn in red or if I bought 1 ball of this yarn in red. But I'm going to finish this anyway, and then I'm going to deal with it. Part of me thinks that I bought 2 balls. And if I bought 2 balls, I need to find the other. Really, Kat? Really? Okay, there's been a long story, but other than, can you just, yes, like you can say hello to the people. Yes. Say hello to the people. Yes, there we go. There we go. But I've ended up being away for an extra night. And you would think in that being away for an extra night, she's got to the point where she likes me. As you can tell by the look on her face, she is tolerating me because I'm the only one here. She'll be much happier when my stepson gets home later on this evening. But in the meantime, I have a clingy cat that's pretending she likes me. Anyway, I've got the strawberries. I still haven't finished them, but if I just sit down, I'm fairly certain this is how last month's video went, and cranked them out, I will have a strawberry cardigan. I would like to be able to wear my strawberry cardigan to work at the start of next term. So if I make a plan that that's going to be worn on day 1, I need to finish this, and that means that I've got just under a week, but it's doable if I make it a priority. So I need to make this a priority. However, why was this not a priority? This month ended up with some things that had to be done because of reasons. My stepson was going to his brother's wedding, and to do that he wanted a kilt, so a lot of my time went on making a kilt. Have I made a kilt before? No. Am I an expert sewer? No. Did I know what I'm doing? No. Did I watch a lot of YouTube videos and wing it along the way? Yes, I did. But I've seen an episode of the Great British... Okay, I'm quite obsessed with the Great British Sewing Bee, so I'll try and insert a photograph of him wearing his kilt, because it turned out to be a very popular choice and people complimented on him. So he's happy. I'm happy. I have retained some of the scraps. So what he's done is he's gifted about 7 meters of the fabric to his mum so that she can have a dress made, and it's their family tartan. And I've retained some scraps that my sister's going to turn into some cushions, and I'm thinking I might try and embroider the family crest on it, as if I've done embroidery before. Oh, really, Kat? Honestly. Oh! And I'm expecting a phone call. So, you know, why am I filming this now? Because I'm afraid of the weather turning. So then it was Father's Day at the start of September here in New Zealand. And the father-in-law, who's been doing a lot of painting, I decided I was going to knit him a hat. So I needed to speed run it. I'll insert a picture of the hat up here. It's not on his head because he's not that kind of guy. But I'll also link to the video up here. Where you can make your own. It's a ladder stitch beanie, and it worked up really quickly and it looked really cool. It fit quite nicely. It was such a beautiful yarn, and it's one that I've had in the stash for a really long time. So that happened, so that took priority. So between the Father's Day socks and the Father's Day hat that got made, that took up a lot of time at the beginning of the month. And then we jumped full force into Bird of the Year. Now, as has become my tradition over the years, I have been knitting a version of my vote for Bird of the Year for the last 3 years. The last ones I've done have been about yay big, or the last year's was even smaller. So I did knit up the Titi Titi Pounamu last year, which is the, what's his other name? Rifleman, which is a really cool green sort of fat bird. And then the year before, the Putangi. It's a paradise shell duck. I can't remember its Māori name offhand. And so I made them both in male and female forms. And this year, I went all out, and this was quite the process while having a concussion to work out how to make a skeleton. But I have made the kaka, no, not the kaka, the kahu, the swamp harrier. So hopefully, while this video is being filmed, one of them will just like and soar in the background, because they do fly around here all the time and they are really cool. Mostly I wanted to do it this way so that I could double strand the yarn and try and get a feathered texture, and I feel like it's relatively successful. There are bits where you can't tell where I've changed the colours of the browns, and that looks quite cool, but there are other parts where my colour changes are too noticeable, and I think that if I had had a more cream version of the white, that would have been preferable. But either way, I'm really happy with him. The pattern's available for free. The voting, I think, is closed, and they've announced the winner, and it was not the kahu. Kahu was not even in the top 10, was not even in the top 20. But you know what? Forest and Bird got a record number of votes, other than the year that John Oliver sponsored the Puteki Teki, and got all the votes from overseas and absolutely crashed Forest and Bird's websites. So that was, it's always fun to participate, and that's my way of participating and making a little donation and making a bird pattern. So I just think it's cool because I'm surrounded by birds at home. So there was the kahu, and I love him, and I will now put him in storage until I've got a yarn room where he can sit on my shelf behind me. What else did I finish this month? I had to go up to the National Theatre Fest One Act Play National Awards, because it turns out that I won the Play of the Year award for the competition. So I got to go up there and collect a trophy, which was very cute, and I'm very humbled and I'm very happy, and it was a play all about the COVID lockdowns. So I was quite happy all in all of how it all went. And while I did that, I knit this pair of socks. I say this pair of socks, I really knit 1 and a bit socks on the 2-day journey, and then I had to finish off the second sock when we got back. So I haven't written up the pattern for these yet, but it's double stranded, and this is a hand dyed yarn from Joy of Yarn in Greytown from James Herbison. This pattern worked up really quickly. It looks very cool. I'm going to adapt it a little bit more and make it a masculine version for my partner. And I'm interested to see how it's going to go when I do it in a single strand, because I think that's even going to look more impressive. So I'm very happy with these socks. But socks do take up a lot of time, and a lot of this year, well, a lot of this month has been spent traveling, so it's a little bit like that. Then we've got, oh, this is another finished project. These, I think I had started these last month, but I didn't even show them in the video because showing them in the video is so difficult. This is a black Gotland lamb's wool. It's beautiful, but boy, it was hard to knit with and really hard to see on camera. So it's still really hard to see on camera, but these socks here will be, she says scratching her nose with the end of the sock. These will be part of my partner's birthday present this year, because every year I do knit him a pair of socks. Usually I let him pick the yarn for the socks that he wants for his birthday, but last year, no, the year before last, he picked a non-sock yarn, because of course he did. And then last year he picked a very bright sock yarn. And this year he's been too busy and we haven't been sock yarn shopping. So I chose it for him. So this is a Black Gotland lamb's wool. And this is leftover from a hand-dyed yarn that I got from Roxy Fibres. I can't remember the name of the colourway, but I put that in the corners. I think it's a Polworth. I might be making that up. Either way, it's a sock yarn, but it's made of a hard-wearing New Zealand wool in the toes and around the top. There'll be a pattern for them. The other thing I've just found out about lamb's wool is that lamb's wool, when it gets blocked, is going to bloom, which means it's going to take, because it's still got more lanolin in it because of the way the lambs are built or something. I wasn't really listening, but I was like, oh, that'll change this sock completely. So shortly, today even, maybe not looking at this weather, I'm going to wash these up and block them. My sock blockers for men's socks aren't as beautiful as these ones. And I'm going to get them blocked and see how they bloom, because I think this is going to be the most beautiful pair of socks once the stitches are all evened out, but really hard to knit with a black lamb's wool 4-ply on men's socks. This pattern's going to be out for Socktober as well. So there's a lot of socks in this month's projects. The next project is very tiny, and I'm wondering if I can even see it in my box. Hide my big project. See, I'm fairly certain that I finished these socks last month, so I'm ignoring those. Right, I'll skip ahead to this project that I'm not showing you. So if I do this project that you cannot look at directly. So what we've got here is I'm working on what I'm hoping is going to be a Christmas Advent project for other people, because I will have already made it. And it's working up nicely. I'm slowly trying to film the tutorials of all the parts. There should be 25 parts to the project. But it's not 25 knitted parts, but 25 steps, for lack of a better description. It's going to be very cute. It's not Christmas themed, but I wanted to do something as an Advent project this year, and I haven't got around to it. And this one's been mulling around, and it was like, finally, okay, bite the bullet, do it. Let's just make this one happen, and we can work on a different project for next year, because I do have several ideas on the go in my head. Okay, my list of knitting and crochet projects, can't reach the ground, is massive. Then we had the 24-hour play competition. It really has been such a busy month of theatre. And for that, I did a challenge video. You'll see it coming up in Socktober. There are so many sock videos that nobody asked for. And to be particularly honest, nobody watches them. So I don't know why I bother. But Socktober, every video is about socks, and I do not care. I made baby socks. These are very cute. Now, they look tiny and minuscule. I can see a kahoo flying right there. He might scoot over there, we'll see. Yeah, so these are a 2x2 ribbed one. So they look really skinny, but they are really stretchy. Like, they're really stretchy. But that makes it quite nice to sit back on baby's foot. So these here I've got a darn in the ends of, and then I'm going to make another 2 sizes, and then I can give them to my workmate who just recently had a baby girl. Their last baby was a boy, and I made him some booties and things. So I figured it would be a nice thing to make his daughter some little socks for their baby. And then I started getting a lot of questions on my website about one of my older patterns. And this is a tiny, tiny pumpkin. This pattern has been a sleeper hit because it's been up since 2020. But the pattern itself online suddenly started receiving a lot more questions than I've ever had before. And these were different questions, and it was the same. A lot of people asking the same questions. So last week, this video was released. I speed ran making this tiny pumpkin. I forget what these are called, but I grew them last year, and they're edible. And what's nice about them is it's like a 1-person serving of pumpkin when you do grow them and eat them, but terrible for soup because you've got to cut so many of them. So I've got the tutorial for this tiny pumpkin. It's short and it's flat, but the more rows you put in, the bigger you can get it, and the more you stuff it. I haven't stuffed this very much because I was just speed running the tutorial, to be honest. So I made this pumpkin. And now are we into ones that are incomplete? No, we're not. We've got one more completed project. This is also an old pattern. This pattern's always getting stolen. And I don't care if people use it, but it just gets stolen, and then people take the pattern that I wrote with my pictures and sell it on Etsy, and it happens all the time. These are pumpkin booties. They're very cute. I've been meaning to make a tutorial for them and update the pattern because I've updated the way the pumpkin's shaped in the top, and I've updated the edge here so that it's got a knit-on I-cord edging now. I do not recommend these for people who are walking around in them because the seam goes right down the bottom, and I don't think that would be comfortable. But mostly these get made as photo props. People who are wanting their pumpkin cute photographs, and you can scale the pattern up to be different sizes. So this tutorial is coming during Socktober. I haven't edited it. I'm not even sure I've photographed these socks, so we shall see. What socks? Booties. We shall see what happens here. But these are my pumpkin booties. So there was definitely a pumpkin theme going on there for a week. Another one that was being worked on, but I keep putting down because it's just a pain. My 2 at a time socks. These ones got started in like 2021 as a 2 at a time socks. But the challenge with them is that the yarn is difficult. This is from Darn Good yarn. Lovely yarn once it's knitted up. Lovely socks to wear once they're knitted up. But it's a recycled cotton acrylic blend. I'm using a 3.25 needle that I was convinced was a 3mm for the longest time, but I looked at it the other day and realized it's 3.25. These are on whatever the orange length cable is from Knit Pro, and they're the interchangeables. So it's got all the struggles of the interchangeables, as well as these cables I put on when they were brand new. So they need more flexibility. I didn't soak them in hot water. I just started using them, and I am constantly untangling the yarn to knit a row, so I'm just not picking these up. I'm supposed to be working on a video about knitting socks 2 at a time, but I feel like I need to finish this pair before I start the pair that I feel like is going to work more successfully than this. But we shall see. It may or may not happen in terms of this year for Socktober. The other thing I have been working on is this. This is the 6-day star blanket, but this is the Supernova. So currently it's this big. I did start darning in the ends to be a friend to my future self, but I got bored, so I've got a lot more ends to darn in. The difference between this one and the standard 6-day star blanket is the standard blanket has 7 points. This one has 14. It's not actually much harder than the 7-pointed one, but it's making it more circular, which I quite like because I'm going to try and get this to queen size bed sized. What ends up happening is that in this row here, there's an additional point that comes out. So it starts as a 7-pointed star in the middle, and then it grows into a 14-pointed star. So it ends up more circular than the other one. So I've been working on that. So that's everything I've worked on. It is admittedly more than I thought I'd been working on, but also less than I had planned. I haven't touched my pink cardigan. I haven't finished my strawberry cardigan yet, but I do want to finish this. I keep designing more projects. I am going to show you one more thing, but I didn't make this. This here just arrived. It's a birthday present from my Auntie Jo. She's a quilter. This is my dog. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. So, thank you, Auntie Jo. I need to get a pillow to go inside that now so that I can have my dog on my bed. The dog's been a right royal drama over the last couple of days. Happy ending, happy times all round. However, so much stress in the last 24 hours about the dog. Actually longer than 24 hours now, but a lot of stress about the dog. But he's all good. Still don't know how any of it happened, but everything's fine now. Yeah, so basically, that's everything I've knit and crocheted in the month of September. For October, what my plans are: finish my cardigan, work on secret project that I'm not letting you look at for very long, as well as the AMP shows coming up. In 2 weeks' time, I have to put in my entry form for what I want to enter in this year's AMP show, which means I've got 2 weeks to get my star crochet blanket to a size that I'm happy with. At least it is one where I can stop it at any point and it's now in the right realm of being the right size. I need to darn in the ends on my flamingo socks because I want to enter those. I need to pull out my tea cozy. I think a tea cozy is one of the categories again this year, and decide whether or not I'm going to knit a hat to match one of the scarves I've made for the hat and scarf thing. I need to make some baby socks, so I need to make some more baby socks because there's a baby sock category. There is a child's multicolored garment, and I do want to make a penguin jumper, but I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I'm wanting to, but I think I'm going to have to make one for about a 2-year-old size, I think. So it should be easy enough. Yeah, I would prefer to knit it in wool, but I feel like acrylic would be more washable for them. So I've got some conflictions going on with how to do that, but I've got some plans in process. We're also getting close to another Pokemon event, and so one of the things that I wanted to do for the last Pokemon event that I didn't end up getting time to do means I just need to sit down and knit and crochet a lot of tiny Pokemon, because I'm almost set for that event. I say event as though it's something that other people are involved with. Anyway, I'll get back to you in about 30 seconds because my phone's ringing. I need to go and answer it. Alrighty, so Kat has claimed the pillow. Kahu did not receive Bird of the Year. However, Bird of the Year did go to the New Zealand Falcon. So, Bird of Prey for the win. Woohoo! Yep, lost the plot. Okay, so that's everything I knit and crochet in the month of August. Nowhere near as many completed objects as I was planning, and definitely not the completed objects that I was expecting. And 100% 4 different theatre events over the course of the last few weeks have made things a very busy month. No, not the month of August, the month of September. Oh, I am that tired. All right, so if you would like to watch another video, YouTube thinks you'll like something else suggested up here. The cat, however, really doesn't care what you do because she doesn't care what anyone does as long as I pet her and feed her until her people arrive back home, because she hates me the most of everybody. Down below over here where the cat's bum is, that's an entire playlist of everything I have made in the month of since somewhere in the realm of 2021. And if you want to stick around and find out whether or not this cat and this bird and the dog and everybody else is... Honestly, I'm trying to make a video here. I'm trying to be professional. Stick around and subscribe up in the top corner. All right, take care. I will see you next week. Bye.